say hello to the island of Ireland. It's a beautiful country with a rich history of legends and tales. The people are a soulful bunch with a reputation of being up for the crack. I've come to put that to the test and uncover what the island of Ireland has to hold. The purpose of my visit is simple: to hunt down the thrills, meet the people, and see how they like to have a good time.
Welcome to Ireland!
We call it the island of Ireland because it's made up of two separate countries: Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, and the Republic of Ireland in the south. We start our journey in Northern Ireland, and what better place to start than the capital city of Belfast. Historically, Belfast had a massive shipping industry, building many ships and cruise liners here, the most famous of which was the Titanic. Now if you take a look behind me, this is exactly where the Titanic was built, and it would go right up many meters above us before it set sail. And then we all know how that ended for Jack and Rose. So the Titanic was too large to be harboured, so in order to get people on the boat, they had to ship them to the boat. Now you may remember in the film, there was a boat that went out to take the very last people. Well, that was this boat, the Nomadic. This was the last boat to ever take people to the Titanic. So, this is the telecommunications room. Now when the Titanic hit the iceberg and made a first call back to land, this would have been the very first place where the call would have come. Over the years it deteriorated, and recently they've now renovated it and turned it into a hotel. But you can see behind me, in some of these photos here, how it used to look. Take a look at the stairway here. So this is what it looks like now. So I'm here in the gents' toilet, so if you don't mind, I'm just gonna... Okay, I actually want to show you something. So this is now renovated into gentlemen's toilets, but it used to be the old accounting office. And if you see here, this is where the old safe is, where they used to keep pay slips and things like this.
That one kept in good condition because the only people allowed to use that door is the director of the company.
Right, he's the only person.
The only people, it's 4 of them or 3 of them, they used to come in here. Exactly here you go. You can, if you look at this picture, you can realize there's one of the funnel is fake.
Well, one funnel wasn't working.
Fake.
Right.
It's just a kind of decoration.
So it was a 3-funnel
working
ship, and then one was just put there
to make it look massive.
Ah,
you can see it easy.
Right.
Look at it.
The 4th one.
That's right. That's the one in the back. So this is Thomas Andrew, the chief design, and this is his original office. Last shots in the movie. There is a guy standing against the wall. There is an orchestra.
He shoots himself.
No, he's the one refused to go off the rafters ready, sir, and he refused to go off. And
oh, with the big beard?
That's Thomas Andrew.
That's Thomas Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh, because he designed the ship. I remember. Because he got a lot of respect from everybody. So who would have thought the birthplace to my favourite film, Titanic, was right here in Belfast? It's absolutely fascinating to see the actual scale of the boat when you see how they built it in the dockyard there. And it's really interesting to see what they've done since then with the museum and how they've turned the drawing rooms where they designed all the ships into a lovely hotel. Wish me luck, old pal. So we've taken a drive this morning about an hour north of Belfast through the glens of Antrim to Sheen's horse farm. And as you can see behind me, it's beautiful. It's green, it's lush. You can smell the fresh air. So this is my horse. What's this horse's name?
Moncha.
Moncha. Moncha's a big horse. You don't want to get in the way of Moncha. Okay, we just jumped on our horses here. This is Moncha. He's my trusty horse for the day. Taking a little stroll around the fields here. Absolutely beautiful. Oh no, he wants to eat something. Moncha, come on, no time for that, come on. Now, turns out all Moncha thinks about is food and women. I don't know how we're going to get along. So this whole affair might look a little bit like Game of Thrones, and that's because it was actually filmed very close to these areas. Come on, Moncha. Trying to get her to gallop. She's a bit of a fat horse. So I've heard there's no snakes in Ireland.
No snakes.
Why is that?
According to legend, St. Patrick drove them out. But we have no snakes. We do have small lizards.
Lizards? But no snakes here.
No snakes.
St. Patrick came along, blew his pipe,
Yeah.
kicked them all out.
Yeah.
So we've been on horseback now for about an hour, and we've come to take a little stop at the top of this hill here. Now you can see behind me how beautiful everything is here. The countryside is really gorgeous. Winter is coming, horse. Winter is coming. So I'm walking along the King's Road through the dark hedges to Castle Black, the home of the Night Watch. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you don't watch Game of Thrones. But if you do, then you'll be very jealous right now, because I'm at the dark hedges. Now, Northern Ireland is the home to many of the scenes and the plots of Game of Thrones, and you can come down here and see it for yourself, or you can see it another way. If you want to see the Game of Thrones, taking the chopper. I've come up to the Causeway coast on the northern tip near the town of Bushmills, where Bushmills whiskey originated. The beautiful scenery and ancient ruins are why many of the scenes of Game of Thrones was filmed here, attracting many fans of the show and tourists alike. But this is not the only reason why this is Northern Ireland's most visited destination. For centuries, people have been drawn to the mysterious marvel that is the Giant's Causeway. So we're going to go take a look at Giant's Causeway right now, which is a World UNESCO Heritage Site and the most popular place to visit here in Northern Ireland, because it's got 44,000 perfectly hexagonal columns that come out the ground. Why it's there? Well, there's a lot of myths and legend about why it's there. So let's go take a look. It's a collection of 44,000 basalt columns in perfectly hexagonal shapes coming out of the ground. Geologists believe that 65 million years ago, a volcano exploded. The lava flew into a riverbed, and as it cooled slowly, these cracks broke down into hexagonal shapes. So the geologist theory is a little bit far-fetched for the locals here, who believe a slightly different story. They believe a giant called Finn McCool, the Irish giant, built the causeway so he could build a bridge between here and Scotland, where he was going to go and fight the Scottish giant. But when he got there, he realised the Scottish giant was massive. So he came back over the causeway and he said to his wife, "My God, the Scottish giant's enormous. We've got to run." And she said, "I have a plan." So she dressed him up as a baby, and as the Scottish giant came over, he saw the baby, which was actually Finn McCool, and said, "My God, if that's Finn McCool's baby, how big is Finn McCool?" So he went back over the causeway. Finn McCool picked up a bit of ground, threw it at him, hit him on the head, and killed him. That bit of land, they say, was the Loch of Nye, which, ironically, is exactly the same size and shape as the Isle of Man. So they believe that that's the bit of ground. Now, believe what you want to, the geologist story or the local folk story. To rest my head before an early start tomorrow, I've come to a small seaside town called Portrush. So it's 6:30 a.m, we're staying at the Atlantic Hotel. I asked them where breakfast was, and they've sent me down here. So, where's breakfast?
In there.
Okay, so I figured out what we're doing for breakfast. I'm here on a fishing boat. They said, no catch, no breakfast. So, we're going out into the Atlantic Ocean, which is absolutely freezing, and it's already pretty nippy and quite windy.
Safety-wise, that's all I'm going to say. Are there any questions about that?
Are there enough life for us for the number of people on the ship?
The little boats are gone from the breast of Anna Liffey. The ferrymen are stranded on the quay. The Dublin docks are dying. The way of life is gone. Molly, it was part of you and me.
Where's the treasure?
Check the treasure
Yeah.
in the museum.
In the museum now. There must be some little bit scattered around.
Well, there are, but you're not allowed to dive on it.
Ah, you see. Trying to keep secrets. I see there's lots of seagulls here.
Yes.
So is that a clue that there might be some fish here?
Yes.
Okay, so we just chopped up some mackerel for our bait. Put it on my fishing rod here. Now, gonna drop this in. So, I'm not quite sure how we do this. You got one before me.
I got one.
Tell us the tricks. What's the tricks of the trade?
I just felt it nibble.
I think you guys are cheating. Everybody's catching fish except me. I think they're cheating. I think they've got a bucket of fish and they're just pulling them out just to make me feel bad.
I need a picture, Peter. Oh look! That's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, I got something. When you catch one, does it feel like a big tug?
Oh, you definitely know you can do this nibble like
Yeah?
just jerking at it, yeah.
Right, so definitely haven't got one then. So I didn't catch any, but as a group we caught 4. So I'm hoping if I'm nice to somebody, they might share their fish with me.
Where the strawberry beds sweep down to the Liffey, you'll kiss away the worries from my brow. I love you well today, I love you more tomorrow. If you ever love me, Molly, love me now.
Who wants some? Who wants some? Who's got it? Who's quick? Who's quick? Where's he gonna go? Is he gonna go there? Oh! I've got a feeling that the chef is gonna help us make it nice and tasty, and looking forward to that. So
Yep, will do.
we go.
Lip smackingly good.
The Irish hospitality is second to none, so despite my poor attempt at catching some breakfast, I've been invited into an Irish home with my fishing buddies to cook up some freshly caught mackerel and eggs. Breakfast was delicious.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We're off now, I think, to burn it off. We're going to do something called blow karting. Ever done it before?
I haven't. I
No.
couldn't even tell you what it is, no matter.
Okay, well, I don't know either. So we're down here on the beach right now, and as you can see, it's very, very windy, which is perfect for what we're just about to do, which is blow karting. So if you take windsurfing and go-karting, you get blow karting. Now these things, as you can see, have a sail like a windsurf and wheels like a go-kart, so you can practice windsurfing on the beach, on the ground. So how fast do these go at top speed?
The top speed in the world is 62 miles an hour.
Oh Lord.
With regards to stopping, what did I say again? You're in the stop position now, with the sail directly over your head.
But it didn't stop.
No, well, it's rolling down the hill. This here?
Whoa!
Yeah. And once it does that, you let that rope go immediately, yeah?
Okay.
And steer into the wind, and when you steer into the wind, it'll come back down.
So the wind is at 22 knots today, which is fast. So it's had to reduce the sails twice so we don't lose control. Now John is the guinea pig and he's giving it a go. So I'm going to watch attentively while he does this.
Yeah, and then
My God, we almost lost him. Oh, thank God. I didn't realise that could be so much fun. Woo! I was like a Formula 1 racing driver. I'm covered in sand all over my face. But it was great fun. Now, that was fast, but I hear that they do something even faster that's got petrol involved just nearby. So you're probably wondering, what am I doing here? What we got next? So that just lifts it, this part off the ground.
That just lifts, yep, lifts everything.
So that part there, which is that bottom, will be what, just a few inches off the ground?
Yes, yeah. So the only brakes you have in the craft then are essentially when you release the throttle, the air escapes, and then you drop down, and it's the friction of the hull against the ground.
Handlebars, this controls your direction, and then your throttle, that controls your speed. So there's no brakes in the hovercraft. I'll tell you bit in a minute.
Did you say no brakes?
No brakes. And I always look for the fear in people's eyes when I say that.
Over in the far corner here where she is now, you're going to come to the first of your 2 water ponds, okay? 2 things to remember going through the water: keep the power on, so you want to stay hovering, and you lean back a little bit off the front end. You don't want the front end to crash down the way in.
Right, I'm up next in the hovercraft, racing around this track. The top score, or the top time so far, is 2 minutes and 8. Now I'm a little bit heavy, but let's see if I can beat it.
Your fastest lap, both laps are actually identical, 1:57.
Oh, that was good. 1:57, I beat the record so far, but you're up. Carl's up. The cameraman. Carl's pretty good at this stuff, so it's one of these guys who's just naturally good at everything, so let's see how he does. So I don't have a cameraman anymore, so I gotta film myself. So basically, I got the fastest time. Carl got better than me, but Carl doesn't count for now. Well, hovercraft racing was sensational, but that is a lot of action and adventure for one day. So we're off now to Londonderry, or Derry as they call it, which is known as the Walled City. I don't think we're going to do much today, just some dinner and then that's us out, but tomorrow we'll get to see a bit of the city. I've now reached my last stop in Northern Ireland before I head south to the Republic of Ireland. I couldn't miss out this historical town of Londonderry, or Derry as many people have liked to correct me. The political history of this city and the divide between the Protestant Unionists and the Catholic Republicans is an unescapable part of their history and is still visible now, though in recent times the peace process has meant that life here has been calm. So this morning's activity is boomboarding. The Hawaiians used to do when it wasn't good surf weather, and now we're doing it here in Ireland. And I've heard it's a pretty fast sport, so I'm all padded up, wearing my leathers, ready to fall off. So we've been learning boomboarding, learning how to stop, how to turn and how to control it. Now we're taking a little look around Londonderry. This is the old city wall. It's a really beautiful city. This is a really relaxing way to get around. It's not too difficult once you get the hang of it, but you can get up to some good speeds. It's a lot of fun. So we're going for a bit of midnight kayaking on the River Foyle. Now, it may not look like midnight because it's summertime and the sun doesn't set till at least 10:30, but we're going to be going for a couple of hours, so it should get dark a little bit later on. Now we're going underneath the Peace Bridge, which you can see behind me, which was built in 2011 to bond the two sides between the Catholics and the Protestants. Did you bring your towel? Did you bring your towel?
A towel?
Yeah.
No, I have no towel.
Try not to fall in, because if you put your hand in the water just for 5 seconds, whew, pretty cold. Got a little midnight snack. A little bit of chocolate cake. Just makes everything a bit more interesting. Oh, my legs feel a little bit strange. Haven't used them in the last 2 hours, but that was great fun. Really quite nice and peaceful to be out on the water there when at this time of night when there's no cars around, you know, nothing. It's really quite peaceful. So definitely worth going, definitely worth trying out. And Londonderry is really beautiful at day and night. Well, that's my tour of Northern Ireland, and I now head south on a 2-hour journey to the Republic of Ireland, to the bustling capital city of Dublin. Dublin is known as one of Europe's most vibrant cities, and the economy has been strong in the last decade, which has only added to the buzz of the place. I'm intrigued to find out about the way of life of the people here. I've come to find out a little bit about Irish culture and history, and what better way than by learning about Gaelic games right here at its home in Croke Park.
You were saying Cork was your great-grandmother.
Yeah.
So this is your beloved Cork.
So that's the Cork shirt.
That's the Cork shirt. So that's your roots.
So my great-grandmother was from Cork, so...
And how it works in this country, that means you are now a Cork supporter. That's it.
Right, so I don't have a choice.
No.
I'm born into Cork.
Yes, correct.
Right. But what if?
No what if. This is probably the bit you've been looking forward to most.
Yeah.
This is the chance to actually practice some of the skills. So I'll introduce you to the equipment. That is a sliotar. That's the name of the hurling ball. You'll gather it's very similar to a baseball. That in a game can travel at 180 kilometres an hour.
And they catch it with their hands?
Yes.
So 180 miles an hour and you've got to catch that?
Yes.
We're at Croke Park. It's the hurling championship. They need their best man on. That's me. Let's go. By the pitch now. Now, one thing I've noticed is it's bigger than a rugby or football pitch.
It's significantly so. So if you take, say, the Metropolitano Atletico Madrid's ground, Champions League finals held there in Liverpool and Spurs, the length of the field's about 110 metres long, 65 metres wide. This one here beside you is 145 metres long. Wow. And it's 90 metres wide.
So check this out. We're walking on the edge of the roof where we can take a look over the whole pitch. If you're scared of heights, this isn't for you. Woo! And you can see the scale, not just how much bigger the pitch is than an average football pitch, because it's 140 metres long, but the seating, over 82,000 seats. It's the biggest stadium in Ireland. So these are all the Gaelic Games clubs, and you can see this, just here, are the different clubs just in Dublin. If you take a look over here, there's some of the international teams, and here, where Asia is, you might notice the Dubai Celts back home. Come on, Dubai Celts. So if you come to Dublin, you've got to make sure your Guinness to blood ratio is above 30% all the time. So I've come here to the Guinness storehouse to see how it's made. Leo's our man. He's going to tell us what this is on the floor.
Yeah, well, this is the lease that Arthur Guinness signed on the 31st of December 1759.
Right.
And he signed this lease for 9,000 years.
9,000 years?
9,000
Who does those deals? Why didn't you just buy it?
Well, good question. Okay, Paris, you want to see something cool?
Okay, go for it.
This is my favourite thing in the Guinness storehouse.
Yeah.
This bottle here. Back in 1959, we were celebrating 200 years of Guinness, and to mark the occasion, what we decided to do is drop 150,000 of these bottles into oceans all over the world.
Right.
And inside each bottle, there was this letter claiming to be from King Neptune.
Who doesn't exist.
Well, debatable. Inside each letter was stuff stating like, this is King Neptune, God of the sea, drink Guinness, it's good for you, it's what the gods drink. Even though we dropped 150,000 60 years ago, they're still being found today.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is basically advertising?
Yes.
So people are finding these bottles all over the world and saying, we've got to drink Guinness because the King of Neptune tells us
This is pretty much, the first version.
And when was the most recent one found?
Certainly the last one I heard about was in March 2018 in the Bahamas.
Wow. So it's still as much as last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
So that's a 60-year advertising campaign.
60, yeah. Longest running advertisement campaign of all time.
Genius.
It's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Well, it would be.
Okay, Paris, we're gonna see if you're listening.
Okay.
Quiz time.
Go on then.
What year did Arctic Guinness sign the lease?
1759.
For how big a brewery?
Oh, 57 acres.
4.2.
4.2 acres.
It is 53 and a half now.
53 and a half.
What colour is Guinness?
Rose red.
Ruby.
Ruby red. So we've been taking a look around the Guinness factory and looking at the different ingredients that are used to make Guinness. The first is barley, which is the secret sauce to Guinness because they roast 10% of the barley to give it its dark colour. So this here is what the roasted barley looks like. As you can see, it's very black, and if you smell it, you kind of get a bit of a resemblance of what Guinness smells like. The second is the hops, which gives it that beer flavour, which is used in all beers. The third is yeast, which is used to ferment the beer. And the last one, of course, is water. So it sounds easy. So let's go and make our own beer. So behind me here is the River Liffey, which is the main water supply into the city of Dublin and supplies the Guinness factory. So essentially, after a bit of filtration process, this is what you're drinking. Now, you're probably wondering why I've got this helmet on. Well, I'm about to show you something else about the River Liffey. That was freezing! Okay, so we're entering our first rapid here. This is a hydroelectric dam that would power Dublin. The tactics to get down this thing is we're going to all jump in the back of the raft so it does a wheelie, and then as it goes over, we're all going to jump in the front. Don't ask me. Holy shit! Right, go into the front! Go! Oh! That was mental! Oh.
The tremors are not the heart, you know, not too bad.
Hanging over the edge. These guys are nuts. Absolutely nuts. Right, I mean, these guys are used to the cold, so this isn't cold for them. But you know, I live in the Middle East where it's a lot warmer, and this is very cold for me. But this is crazy, you know, I thought we would stay in the boat, we wouldn't get wet, but think again. Got to enjoy the Irish summer. Once I've got the River Liffey out my ears, I set off on a 4-hour road trip to the beautiful Galway county on the west coast, to the Connemara region, famous for its scenic mountains, lakes, and rich Irish traditions. So we're taking a little road trip from Dublin and heading west, past Galway to a place called the Liffey Mountain Resort, where we've got some activities planned. Now I've been told out here on the west coast we need to pack for every season because the weather changes very quickly. This behind me may look like a lake, but actually it's a fjord, which means it's been carved out by a glacier. And this actually links to the Atlantic Ocean, so it's seawater. So what you'll find in here is mussels, you'll find mackerel, and apparently you'll even be able to spot some dolphins and seals on a good day. The Liffey Mountain Resort is where I'm heading, which has an activity centre with some unique Irish pastime hobbies that they want me to try out. Okay, so I'm here at the Liffey Mountain Resort. I'm here with Rev. Rev, why am I wearing all this?
You're wearing all this now. This morning you're going to be doing our long zip aerial trek combo.
Yep.
So what you have on here, we've our full body harness and we've our long zip trolley here.
So as you can see behind me, this is the Liffey mountain range, which goes up to 800 meters. Now the high mountains, combined with the fact that this is the second most rained upon piece of land in Europe, because it's next to the Atlantic Ocean, means that there's a lot of fast flowing rivers, great for whitewater rafting and kayaking. Balance is on point. Getting ready for this baby, the zip line. Take a look at that. How long is this?
200 and something meters.
200 meters, and it goes how fast?
Quite fast.
Quite fast. That's fast enough for me.
3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa there! That was rapid. I don't know how fast we got there, but when you hit the brake at the end, you realise that you're going pretty fast. Whew. And with the scenery around with all these mountains, it's quite incredible. So the zip line's finished. Now we're going to do the aerial obstacle course, which is nice and high. So if you're scared of heights, this is not for you. But luckily, I'm a daredevil. I wish I could say this is the most idiotic I've looked today, but there's an Irish pastime that the locals have been eager for me to try, which I think might top this. I've done some pretty stupid things in my time. I've eaten the world's spiciest chili wings, which put me in hospital. I've raced the world's fastest powerboat when I don't even have a license for a dinghy. But what I'm about to do might be the stupidest thing I've ever done. Think this is all right here? No! It's not! Oh! So this is bog diving. Oh, and as you can see, it's full of mud, right? This is the peaty mud that creates these bogs, which they actually dry up and use for fuel, because it's basically, whoa! It's basically dead moss. Oh, I think I stepped on a dead animal, or something's gross there. There's something squidgy. Yuck. Okay, do this. Right, now, the locals seem to find it fun to go bog diving, which is basically what I'm doing now. This is kind of like a weekend sport for them. Are there snakes in here? Do you reckon there's snakes? Oh my god, it's squidgy in the bottom. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's something there. Let's go for dinner. Whoa. Right, got the bog water out of my ears, spruced up and looking good. Got to be looking sharp because we've got the Dubai duty-free Irish Derby coming up, which is the biggest event in the Irish horse racing calendar. Now, I'm looking for a hotel around here called the K Club. I think that'll be it. Well, this is a change of scenery, isn't it? That's because I've travelled 3 hours to Kildare County, to Kildare House, or the K Club as it's commonly called, to find out about another Irish pastime, horse racing. Kildare County is home to many of the world's leading horse breeders. I went to take a look at the Irish National Stud and see what goes into breeding racing champions. Now, I consider myself a bit of a stud, but here at the Irish National Stud, there's a few horses with a bit of a reputation. I'm here to meet David, who's going to show me around. It's a lovely warm day, and I'm here with David Wardell. How are you doing, David?
How are you?
David's the tourism manager here, and you're going to tell me a little bit about the history of the place and show me around.
Absolutely.
They're paying 120,000 for them to have a romance, and then when the baby is born, it's worth $500,000.
It's worth. Now, of course, it's got to be fairly good looking, but it's also the mare's got to be of a certain standard. The lady's got to be quite a good racehorse too. But you'd be a fool to put your donkey or something very slow to that.
This here is Invincible Spirit, which is one of the top horses, stallions to breed with here. So people will bring in their horses just to mate, essentially. Now, you can see here the prize money that he won over his lifetime was €384,000, which comparatively is not a huge amount of money. But because the offspring that he fathered were winners, that put up his value. So in the end, he was insured for up to €60 million. Racehorse breeders and trainers from around the world bring their mares here to breed. But the Irish National Stud is also home to many retired racehorses, as well as has a beautiful Japanese garden that's popular among visitors. Now that we've found out a little bit about the breeding business, it's time to go to the Curragh racetrack, where I've caught up with Colin McLaughlin, the the CEO of Dubai Duty Free, who are the official sponsors for the Irish Derby. So I'm here with Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of Dubai Duty Free, Colin McLaughlin.
It's nice to see you.
A pleasure to meet you and spend some time with you this weekend. And we're here on your home turf in Ireland, an event you've been sponsoring for 12 years now.
That's correct, and I'm happy to see you here. We've been involved here since 2002 at the Curragh, but as title sponsor of the Dubai Duty Free Irish Derby for the last 12 years.
Great. And now I understand for Dubai Duty Free, you've had a lot of milestones recently.
We've been doing a lot of things recently. First of all, on behalf of Dubai Duty Free, we passed $2 billion sales last year.
Incredible.
We have 6,200 people working for us.
Wow.
And the other milestone somebody might have been telling you about is that myself, I have been 50 years in the duty-free industry since the 1st of June.
Since you were 5 years old, I presume.
Yeah, I started when I was 5.
So betting is a big part of the horse racing scene here in Ireland, and you can see behind me the bookies all giving a different rate on different horses, doing it the old-fashioned way with tickets. Now, I may look all dapper, but this is what you call all the gear, no idea. What's your name?
Mikey.
Mikey?
Mikey and Paulie.
Mikey and Paulie. How's it going, guys? Now listen, I'm looking for some tips on horses.
Yes,
do you guys know what's going on?
I do. Hold on for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you through.
You need to tell me the winning horse.
Listen, the winning horse for the next. Won the last race. Now here we go. Here we go. Now this is from a very intelligent fella in Dublin. All right, there you go. I want you to read them three.
3 horses at the Curragh: Seskin, Knapp, Broome, and Georgeville.
That's it. That's your money on.
I've heard that I've heard Broome mentioned a few times.
Okay, yeah.
Money on Broome.
Yeah, put your money on Broome.
Thank you, Paulie. Yeah, if you want. Yeah, go on then. Go on. Hey, go on then. Go on. Oh, sorry. Who's going to win it?
Sultan Stall.
Sultan Stall.
405, Sultan Stall will not be beat.
Right. And why do you think that horse?
Well, we own it.
Right, so you are slightly biased.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if it doesn't win, then the drinks are on you.
Yeah.
So here we are in the parade ring, which is the last chance to get a look at the horses and the jockeys to see who's revved up and who looks like they're the winning horse. Then after that, you go over to the bookies and place your bets and hope that you got the winning ticket. 6 races down, and the next one's the big one, the Irish Derby. Now, it's a 2,400 metre race, and there's €1.5 million up for grabs. Now, I'm backing Mad Noon, number 5. It's owned by Sheikh Hamdan himself. So the race is done, the derby is over, and the horses have done their bit, but the night is young and the party's just getting started. So it's time for me to do my bit. What a fabulous event, and what better way to get engulfed in what the Irish love most. I really felt like one of the paddies. My journey ends here at the Curragh, as my adventures of the island of Ireland come to a close. And what an adventure it's been. I've experienced the high society, traditional Irish culture, the great outdoors, and the outright bizarre. I packed in everything I could since I kicked off in Belfast 2 weeks ago, and I certainly didn't expect to have so much fun. But as I reflect on my trip, there was one thing I couldn't show through this video, which blew me away. Something that I experienced every step of the way. That was the colossal warmth I received from everybody I met. The genuine happiness and care for a traveller in their own country has made me feel part of the tribe and helped me write a new page in my book of fond memories.